For those who don't know me, I usually send out all the emails and contact everyone on Facebook. So welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Hello. We'll just wait like a couple minutes in case any last stragglers come along, but just give it like 2 or 3 minutes. Good to go. Okay, cool. Let's get started. I think like 1 or 2 more people RSVP'd, so if they come through, then they do. But we'll get started so we can finish in time. Thank you again for coming out. This is the 3rd meeting. I know there's a lot of like leadership changes happening and whatnot. It's kind of a busy week, so thanks for blocking out some time. But let's get started. So I think I posted the agenda a couple of days ago, but I know a lot of the biggest questions revolved around moving to in-person, how things are happening, procedures, protocols, plans, kind of anything and everything regarding to what it's looking like moving in person. So again, just want to open the floor. Go ahead, and I guess whoever wants to talk first can lead the charge.
Yeah, so this is kind of a question that I think I sent this one in because that it's not been something that we've really talked about for the Chester Community Clinic at Widener. So I just wasn't sure what other schools were kind of leaning towards. Right now it's looking like even in the spring we're probably going to stay on telehealth, but there hasn't been a whole lot of talk on it. So I just kind of wanted to see what the other perspectives and stuff were moving forward.
At PCOM Hearts, our sites are still very wary about letting people on site. So we have not reopened in person yet. We've been doing everything we can that is semi-remote. So we don't have the capabilities to be doing the telehealth like a lot of you are doing, which is awesome. That's on our docket for looking into funding and stuff coming into the spring. But we've been doing, we partnered with Walgreens for a free flu shot clinic. So Walgreens went and did it for us. We only had 2 of us there just, to oversee that it went okay. But we've been trying to find ways like that where we don't need a large group of people to go. And they've been making special exceptions for our program to come in for small events. We also help people register to vote and things like that. But we have not gone back to in-person clinics, and we're not really sure when we will. That's our update.
Hey everyone, I'm from Temple, Temple's PT clinic, and we're in the same boat. We haven't discussed returning to in-person at all. The last time I talked to my advisor, she told us that we're most likely going to be doing telehealth in the spring as well. So that's our plan.
everyone. I'm Vlad from Scope, and I also have a little bit of knowledge about Lion Care that's also at Penn State. So something we have been successful in doing is doing a drive-through. It's not really a clinic, but a drive-through kind of screening model. So we partner with a bunch of community partners that were non-clinical. On the clinical side, we were handing out fit kits for a potential like a colorectal cancer screening kit, essentially. Just doing patient education, handing out masks. We had a like talk to a pharmacist station. We had a drive-through vaccine model. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit more difficult in the colder months, but we were able to get, I think, 91 cars over the course of 4 hours, and did like 30 flu shots, handed out Narcan as well. So we're still ironing some things out with this model, but that is something that the medical school was comfortable with. And that's kind of our main limiting factor. So we can submit these requests and we can, add all these safety protocols that we are going to follow. But then at the end of the day, if they don't approve the event, then students can't really be on site. So that's where we are now. I know Lion Care is also, that's our kind of, that's the clinic that actually has a physical location that sees patients. It's a specialty clinic. So they were able to get a very limited number of students approved to be involved in the patient care. So yeah, our next event, because it's going to be cold and we can't really do a drive-through, but we have submitted an application to do kind of a very socially distant walkthrough event through a large community center with people keeping at least 12-foot distance between each other and wearing masks, face shields, gloves, and all of that stuff. That one's also going to be primarily flu shots, but also a station where people can just talk to a doctor, talk to a pharmacist, maybe get Narcan, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And if anyone needs, I can share the protocols that we did, and kind of the layout and what we would change for a future event.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. If possible, Vladimir, I'd probably ask you if you could also send out the protocols for that in the Facebook group, just because I think it'd be just good to have like in circulation for maybe later if anyone ever asks. For both the drive-through and the walkthrough that you had mentioned, I think that'd be really cool.
Sure, I can do that.
But yeah, cool. Thank you. Is there any other remaining questions or anything regarding moving back to in-person? Okay, cool. I think there's also the second point on the agenda was COVID reopening plans. But I think we kind of also covered that. If it doesn't look like where any of us are reopening, so we'll scratch that for now. But next was naloxone outreach project. I don't know if anyone from Drexel Hop, Ellie is. What clinic are you from?
Ellie is from Widener. She's one of my first year
okay.
counterparts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, awesome. Thanks for coming. But yeah, so Drexel Hop was also supposed to talk about the naloxone outreach project. So if they don't end up coming through in this meeting, I was asking to send a little message on the Facebook group, and I think we can get our information there. For the fifth point, we had fundraising, and I think that was Juhi, right? You can go ahead and take the floor there.
Sure. I was just wondering what your clinics are doing in terms of fundraising or like hosting fundraisers. I know that we're not going back in person anytime soon, so we haven't been able to do our in-person fundraisers. So do you guys have any ideas of how to do something virtual to raise money?
I can speak on behalf of PCOM Hearts. Last year, we had great success with an Amazon registry. So we put together a registry of all the supplies and stuff we needed, and people like bought physical things. And we found people were much more generous when they knew it was a physical thing that they were giving us and they knew it would go to good use. So if that's an option, we opened a whole new clinic site with the materials we got from that. So that was really successful, and we did it around the holidays when people are looking for things. So I would definitely say use the holiday season a little bit.
That sounds awesome. Thank you.
I know you may have seen some of this floating around. We did over the summer, we did like a fitness challenge to raise money. Then what ended up happening was initially we were doing it for like to raise money for the clinic as like a fundraiser, but what it turned into is that was right around all of the Black Lives Matter movement. So what ended up happening was we ended up donating all of that money to the Black Lives Matter movement, but we did have a lot of success with the fitness challenge. A lot of we kind of just made a Facebook group and people just had to post we had different people from my class, volunteers, fitness instructors, and we did it for I think 5 weeks, and each person took a day and posted a video of a certain exercise, and people just had to comment saying that they did the exercise, and however many people commented at the end of the week was how much money we donated towards Black Lives Matter. So that was one thing that we did. And then there was talk about a virtual 5K that I don't think actually ever happened. And then we were looking into a Yankee Candle fundraiser too. But I know that hasn't been solidified yet. Our funds team is still kind of working on that.
Cool. Question for, I guess, any of the schools. Do you guys do the Patagonias with your program and your little logo on it? Do you guys know how to go about doing that? Because we were thinking of doing that as a fundraiser and raising money for the clinic that way, but I just don't know how to approach that whole apparel sale.
We do stuff like that. We don't use Patagonia. It's a local company that we use, but we do fundraisers through them for just our class, not the clinic. Because we do to raise money for paying for our board's preparation classes and our end of our graduation banquet and stuff. So we've done clothing orders through, there's a place in Chester, I think, that does it, and they usually have some pretty decently high quality stuff. But yeah, we usually make a decent amount on that too.
We are actually in the process of also thinking about that. So I don't have advice because we're also looking for it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I can get back to you on that. So we've done it through Patagonia before. I think they require basically a minimum order, and I'm not quite sure if you want your school's logo on there. I'm not sure quite how that works and who you have to discuss it with, but I'm guessing the school would want to say into their logo being used. We've also tried doing scrubs, a scrubs fundraiser, but that turned out to not work as well as we thought it would, mostly because all of the different departments within the hospital have specific scrub requirements, even things like scrub colors. And we only ended up selling 3 pairs of scrubs, which was really disappointing despite advertising it literally everywhere. I know the virtual 5K was really successful here in Hershey. I think they raised well over a couple $1,000. And then, yeah, usually in my experience, the bigger ticket items, like a nice Patagonia jacket, tends to be the best return on investment, because if you're selling something that's kind of off-brand, people are not willing to pay as much for it, So.
Yeah, we had our third years do a Patagonia sale for their class, and it worked really well. So we're trying to look into it. But the third year, who was in charge of the apparel sale, just hasn't been helpful. So we don't know how to go about it. So Vlad or anyone, if you guys have information, please post it in the Facebook group or just reach out to me. Either one would be fine.
Yep. Yeah, I'll try to post it on the Facebook page, maybe as a separate post. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. That sounds awesome. But yeah, let's definitely make sure to follow up afterwards regarding any other information. But okay, cool. Any last questions or thoughts about fundraising? Okay, cool. And finally, actually, sorry, 2 more. I think there was also a question about, I know recently in the news we just heard about the Pfizer COVID vaccine, and just if there's any like early indications on how distribution is going to work or how your clinic is planning on handling it, or like any early thoughts about that. I think that was just mentioned in like an email a couple of weeks ago regarding, so I forget which clinic it was, but someone was just asking about it. So if you don't have any answers right now, I assume it's very early in the whole process, but later down the line, if you do, especially regarding COVID, please feel free to shoot that in the Facebook group, just exactly how your clinic's handling that. So I'm sure it's going to be a big topic of discussion at one point. But yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And
just to like, for that distribution of the COVID vaccine, we've already kind of talked with the community health team here at Penn State that goes out to the 5 different counties surrounding our medical school and just generally does vaccination drives. So we've told them that as soon as they're ready to distribute the vaccine, whenever that is, that we would partner up with them and give them student volunteers and have the volunteers trained. So I think just going through that main department at your medical schools that does that distribution is probably the best thing. But yeah, nothing concrete yet. We don't know when it's actually going to get here.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. All right. And finally, I know again there's a lot of leadership transitioning happening, and so feel free at any point in any of the future meetings or even now, depending on how your clinic's running it, feel free to shoot us an email at PA Clinics Collaborative, just letting us know, hey, this is changing. Here's a new email. Here's a new phone number. The new leadership. Yeah, just shoot us a quick email about that. Feel free to add them onto the Facebook group as well. I'm not sure if you have the permissions for that. We can change that, allow you to add whoever into the Facebook group. So you can do that, or we can do that as well. And but yeah, feel free, just like how Ellie's here, you can definitely bring in anyone in the future regarding leadership transitioning, just so it makes it easier for how these meetings run and whatnot. But yeah, just let us know whenever possible regarding all that.
Yeah, I will be bringing, so Ellie is actually she's my position, but she's OT. So you will have, once they take over in the spring, you'll have a PT and an OT perspective from Widener. But the PT side couldn't be here tonight because she usually works. But yeah, so.
Yeah, that sounds great. Awesome.
PCOM Hearts just finished our hiring process. So we have a new slew of managers and directors. They have a huge final exam tomorrow morning, so we did not want to make them pop on here tonight. I just finished finals today, but anyway, they will be with us for the next meeting.
All right, awesome. Cool. Okay, so that's kind of the extent of the agenda today. It was a quick one. If there's any last remaining questions, please feel free to ask now. If not, then we'll definitely on the Facebook page follow up regarding the drive-through model, the walkthrough model, any apparel stuff. We'll definitely stay on top of that. And so if there's no last remaining questions, I think we are good to go. Have a good weekend. Have a good rest of the week, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming out tonight. I think that